Hello, and welcome to Boring History for Sleep. The world around you is filled with noise, with demands on your attention. For the next 2 hours, I invite you to let all of that go, not just in distance, but in time. Let the sounds of your room, the thoughts in your mind, and the worries of the present day simply. We are going to ancient Egypt, during the Old Kingdom, around the year 2500 BCE. Allow them to fade into a gentle murmur in the background as we prepare to travel somewhere else entirely. Somewhere very, very far away. Our destination tonight is a land of shimmering heat haze, of sacred river waters, and of monuments that have defied the millennia. Let your breathing slow and deepen. There is nothing for you to do now but listen. Let us travel back, across the sands of time, to the banks of the ancient Nile, and to a life almost impossible to imagine. But our journey does not begin in the gilded halls of a pharaoh's palace, or in the hushed, incense-filled chambers of a temple. Not yet. Our journey begins at the very bottom, on the sun-scorched earth, the grit of sand between our teeth and the ache of labor in our bones. We are going to feel the immense, crushing weight of building eternity. So find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders relax. The day does not begin with a sound. It begins with a change in the air. Subtle shift from the deep, profound cool of the desert night to something less forgiving. The thin wool blanket covering you offers little comfort against the ground's unforgiving nature. And to the low murmurs of thousands of other men stirring around you in the pre-dawn gloom, the air you breathe is thin and dry, carrying the faint, chalky scent of limestone dust descent that clings to everything. To your hair, your skin, your rough-spun linen kilt. This is your life. This is the rhythm of your existence, dictated not by clocks, but by the sun. Every bone, every muscle, carries a dull, persistent ache from the day before. The tools are already there, simple and ancient. Copper chisels, which blunt easily against the stone. There is a foreman, his voice a low, steady chant, who marks the great rectangular outlines on the cliff face. He doesn't need to shout. Everyone knows their task. The rhythm of the work is ingrained in every man's soul. Into these holes, you hammer in the dry wooden wedges, and then comes the water. Bucket after bucket of precious water poured over the wedges. Hard, round pounders made of dolerite, a stone tougher than granite, and wooden wedges which hold a secret power. Your job is to carve a deep channel around the marked block. You hold the chisel. Another man swings the heavy stone mallet. The shock of each blow travels up the chisel, into your hands, up your arms. It is a human river of effort, 1,000 individual points of pain and strain, all focused on a single task. The same sun, the same basic food, the same exhaustion. But your task is one of elevation. The block is dragged from the quarry to the banks of the Nile, where it will be loaded onto a great wooden barge for the journey to the other side. It is a colossal structure in its own right, a spiraling causeway of packed earth, rubble, and gypsum mortar, snaking its way up the side of the growing pyramid. The shouts of thousands of men echo around you, but they are strangely muted, often snatched away by the constant desert wind. It creates a confusing soundscape, a scrape of sledges, the creak of wood, the sharp commands of overseers, all swirling together and then disappearing into the vast, indifferent sky. To the Giza Plateau, it is a jarring, repetitive motion that will continue for hours. It is an ache that has become a part of you, a constant companion. Just the sledge, the block, and hundreds of men. You take your place, gripping a thick rope woven from papyrus reeds. The fibers are rough and dig into your calloused palms. It beats down on your bare back, your skin already darkened and leathery from months. or perhaps years of this same labor. You lean forward, putting your entire body weight into the pull. The sledge groans, but doesn't move. The foreman calls out a rhythm, a simple, monotonous chant. On his mark, you pull again. And again. Your muscles scream. Your back feels as though it might split. The sun beats down. There is no shade here. The white stone reflects the glare, making your eyes water. Sweat streams down your face, carving clean paths through the film of white dust that covers you. The air grows thick with the heat, shimmering above the stones. Imagine yourself there. You are lying not on a soft mattress, but on a woven reed mat placed directly on the hard-packed earth. Before you, the cliffs of Tura are a ghostly white. You move on to the next block, beginning the process again. Behind you, the wood slowly, powerfully begins to swell. It expands with an irresistible, silent force. Hours later, with a deep groaning crack that echoes across the quarry, the block shears away from the cliff face. A multi-ton piece of eternity, born from sweat and wood and water. This is not the common rough limestone used for the inner core of the Great Pyramid. This is the prize. It's a fine, smooth, white limestone, almost like marble, destined to become the gleaming outer casing, a brilliant white beacon visible for miles. You rise not to the sound of an alarm, but to this subtle shift in temperature. You are camped near the great quarries of Tura on the eastern bank of the Nile. It is tepid, already tasting of the day's coming heat. Breakfast is a simple affair. A coarse, flat loaf of barley bread, hard and dense, perhaps a handful of dried dates, or a small bowl of the lentil mash that will also be your lunch and your dinner, is not a meal for pleasure. It is fuel. It is what is required to move a mountain. Take a sip of water from a clay jar. As the sun's first true rays spill over the horizon, they illuminate the landscape with a sudden, stark clarity. And it is your job to tear it from the earth. You walk with your gang of men towards the quarry face. The work begins. Imagine the sound, constant, unending. Chink, chink, chink of copper chisels on stone. The sun, which was a welcome warmth just a short while ago, now becomes a merciless adversary. To free the block, you and the others chisel small holes along its base, and then you wait. But its journey has only just begun, and so has yours. Now, the block must be moved. It is levered onto a large wooden sledge. There are no wheels. At the foreman's signal, a unified grunt of exertion rises from the men. Slowly, agonizingly, the sledge begins to move, scraping across the rocky ground. Let's imagine you are not a quarryman, but one of the men on the plateau itself. Your day is much the same. You stand at the base of the great construction ramp. Your task is to haul the blocks up this ramp. Another rope, another gang of men, another back-breaking pull. This time, it is not on flat ground. It is uphill. Every step is a battle against gravity. Fresh gangs of men may arrive, but the blocks are relentless. They are the true masters here. The sun crosses its zenith and begins its slow descent, but its heat remains trapped by the sand and stone, radiating upwards. Your feet, wrapped in simple reed sandals, or perhaps even bare, struggle for purchase on the dusty, uneven surface. You huddle by a small fire made of dried animal dung, the flames dancing and casting long shadows. You carefully shake out your blanket before lying down, a nightly ritual to dislodge any scorpions that may have sought refuge from the cool air. And in the distance you hear it. The high, lonely cry of a jackal howling at the moon. It is a sound that reminds you of how exposed you are, a small, temporary life existing at the edge of a vast and dangerous wilderness, all in service of a tomb for one man. And you listen. The sounds of the Datha, shouting, the scraping of stone are replaced by the sounds of the desert night. It is a heavy, dreamless state of oblivion. A brief respite before the sun once again announces a new day of the same struggle. The same aches, the same sun, the same stone. This is the rhythm of your life, the unending, grinding reality behind the most wondrous of the ancient world's wonders. And as you lie there, under the vast, star-filled Egyptian sky, the Great Pyramid is a dark, triangular shadow, a silent mountain that you will have to move again tomorrow. A slip could be disastrous, not just for you, but for the entire team. A cascade of falling men and a runaway block of stone. The thought is a quiet, constant fear in the back of your mind. You coordinate with the men in front of you and behind you, a chain of shared misery and shared purpose.
Oh.
You do not speak of ambition, or of the gods, or of the pharaoh's eternal life. You speak of the next foothold, of the shift in weight, of the moment to heave and the moment to rest. It is a moment of profound, almost overwhelming relief. You let go of the rope, and your hands throb with a phantom memory of its texture. You walk stiffly, back to your camp at the foot of the monumental city of workers that has sprung up here, known as Height El Garab. Your world has shrunk to the few feet of ramp in front of you, the rope in your hands, and the burning in your lungs. The evening meal is waiting, more lentil mash, perhaps with a sliver of onion for flavor. You eat in silence, too tired for conversation. Your body craves rest, but even now, the day is not truly over. As the day wears on, the work never ceases. Finally, as the sky turns from a harsh blue to a soft, dusky orange, the call comes to end the day's labor. Your shelter is a simple structure of mud brick and reeds. Night falls quickly in the desert. The oppressive heat gives way to a surprising chill. It is in this quiet that new anxieties emerge. You close your eyes, but sleep is not a gentle drift.